All right, so we've tested AI, we've built something, and we've even seen early results. Now comes the real challenge. How do we actually grow this into something consistent? Because starting is exciting, but scaling is where most people struggle.
Yeah, and I think that's where expectations completely break. People assume once something works once, it should just keep working automatically. But that's not what we experienced at all.
Not even close. What we saw was that results came slowly and only after repeated effort. Which means, if you want growth, you need a repeatable process.
So let's break that down. What does a repeatable process actually look like for something like this? Because that's where most beginners get confused.
A repeatable process is simply doing the same set of steps again and again without reinventing everything each time. For us, that means generating ideas, refining them, turning them into content, and then putting them out consistently.
So instead of chasing new methods every day, you stick to one structure and just improve it slightly each time.
Exactly, and that's where AI actually helps. Not by doing everything for you, but by reducing the time it takes to execute each step.
So AI doesn't replace effort, it compresses time. That's actually a very different way to think about it.
Yes. And once you understand that, your expectations become realistic. You stop looking for shortcuts and start building systems.
All right, so step 1 is repetition, step 2 is having a system. What comes next? Because just repeating something blindly won't work forever.
Exactly, that's where feedback comes in. You need to observe what's working and what's not.
And when you say feedback, you mean actual data, right? Not just guessing or assuming?
Yes, real data, views, engagement, watch time, even small signals matter. Because they tell you what direction to move in.
So instead of asking what should I do next, you ask what is already working. That's a big shift.
It is, and most people ignore it. They keep trying new things instead of improving what's already showing potential.
Which is probably why they don't see results. Because they never give anything enough time to grow.
Exactly. Growth needs time and consistency. And that brings us to another important point: expectations.
Yeah, this is where things get uncomfortable. Because people expect fast results from a slow process.
And when it doesn't happen, they assume it doesn't work. But what we've seen is that it does work, just not immediately.
So if someone is starting today, what should they actually focus on? Like, what's the practical first step?
Start with one idea. Don't overcomplicate it. Use AI to generate options. Pick one and execute it properly.
And then repeat that process? Instead of jumping to something new?
Yes. Repeat and improve. That's how you build momentum.
And what about consistency? Because that's where most people fall off.
Consistency becomes easier when your process is simple. If your workflow is complicated, you won't stick with it.
So simplicity is actually a scaling strategy, not just a beginner tip.
Exactly. The simpler your system, the more likely you are to repeat it. And repetition is what creates results.
All right, let's talk about mindset for a second. Because I feel like this is where most people quit.
Yes, they quit too early, usually right before things start working.
Because they don't see immediate success, and they assume it's not worth continuing.
But what they don't see is that progress is happening quietly. It's just not visible yet.
So scaling is really about patience and staying consistent even when results are small.
Exactly, small signals matter. They're the early signs of growth.
So if we summarize this, scaling is repetition, consistency, feedback, and patience.
Yes, and a simple system that you can follow. That's the foundation.
So what's next for us? Where do we go from here?
Now we refine. We take what's working and improve it further.
So instead of doing more things, we do the same things better.
Exactly, that's the next phase.
And that's where things get interesting. Because now we're not guessing anymore.
We're building based on what actually works. And that's what we'll explore next.
So if you've been following this journey, you're already ahead of most people.
And if this helped you think differently, like, share, and subscribe.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye. See you soon.